to the show. You're listening to the show that's called Apocalypse Tips with Lester Pipps, and that's because I'm Lester Pipps and I'm here to give you Apocalypse Tips. It's a real straightforward name. I hope you understood it. Now, if you was tuning in for the first time and you was thinking, who the heck this guy? Why should I be getting Apocalypse Tips from a dude named Lester Pipps? Is that guy named that just because it rhymes, or is he a real dude? Well, let me tell you what. I am a real dude, and I'm a guy who's about to tell you how to survive apocalypses because I dedicated my whole goddamn life to it, right? Well, since I became an adult in 2005. Which, if you're wondering, I was a 32-year-old man at the time when I became an adult. Becoming an adult to me is recognizing that Hurricane Katrina was bad, and we got to make sure nobody gets wrapped up in a situation like that again. Although it looks like right now there's a bunch of dang hurricanes out there in the god dang Atlantic Ocean trying to come in here, trying to whip up some winds, knock people around. And I'm like, hurricanes? I don't care what your name is. Don't be like Katrina. Get right on out of here. But of course, I don't have the power to control the wind, so I'm just sitting down here in my bunker trying to ride it out. Now, I am in a bunker in my backyard outside Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And when I say my bunker, or excuse me, when I say my backyard, it is my bunker. There's no question that this is my bunker. What you see behind me isn't, it's a fake projection of a bunker, just because I don't want you to get jealous of how good my bunker is, you know? I don't want you to see my bunker think, I can never have that, because you can't. But you could have a bunker as good as the one behind me. So I'm trying to be aspirational for you, you know? I sidetracked myself to talk about the picture behind me, but what I was trying to say is I'm down here in this dang bunker trying to survive, make sure I don't get dead from any of these, all these winds trying to knock folks over. I don't want to get knocked over by wind. That sounds bad. I also don't want to get any of them COVIDs up in my lungs trying to eat my whole heart, you know? I don't want to have COVIDs eat my heart. That sounds bad. Also, man, I mean, there's so many apocalypses at once right now. I don't want to get fire from burning trees up inside my lungs either, you know? Pretty soon, if I'm outside, my lungs is going to be a battle between COVIDs on one hand and ashy air on the other hand. They just duking it out, trying to eat my lungs first. I'm like, no, neither of you gets to eat my lungs. Only I eat my lungs. And I try not to do that either, you know? I don't want anybody eating my lungs, but if somebody does, it's going to be me. Now, you know, I'm thinking that doesn't make that sense. That can't be what your apocalypse tips is. And you right. You right. My apocalypse tips is, as it always has been, and in this case, tips is singular. Um, Make sure you know what you're trying to preserve into the future, right? Because there's a lot of different versions of humanity out there. Your humanity might be one thing, and it might be different than mine. But what I say is we want to make sure there's humanity after whatever apocalypse comes. And obviously, right now, there's a whole lot of them. But you know, maybe we all survive these, and then later there's like an attack from a Mars villain, not the planet Mars, and not an alien, but a villain that lives on Mars, like say a Doctor Manhattan or something. If he turns evil, and then Doctor Manhattan comes down and he's like, I see all time, right? But it turns out that the future he doesn't see because he ends the Earth. That's a possible apocalypse. You got to look out for that. Another possible apocalypse. Let's see. Oh, winter. Winter could come, like in Game of Thrones. That'd be bad. We don't want winter to come. Except like a normal winter that would just like cool shit out, you know, because then maybe there'd be less fire. That'd be kind of good. But not an evil winter, you know? Not one with White Walkers and stuff. If you listen to the show and you're thinking, man, this dude is rambling, you're not wrong. But if you're in the chat, well, then I won't be rambling as much because I'll be reading your chat and I'll be responding to you. So that is something that you should do. If you're watching the show and you're thinking, I could chat with this guy, well, get on up in that chat and do that. Something Oh, shoot. I ain't been recording this show this whole time? Oh, shoot. That's okay. I'm getting up in the chat right now myself just to see what's going on, see if people's in there. Because so far I haven't been in there. Oh, okay. I'm in there now. Okay. Listen. I'm saying a lot, which is not normally something that I do. Listen. I may have sidetracked myself yet again. But what I'm here to tell you is you got to understand what you're trying to preserve into the future. And obviously, the most important thing to me, being that I am from Louisiana, is Louisiana culture. And so, given that that is true, what we got to make sure we have in the future is the recipe and all necessary ingredients of Popeye's Louisiana spicy chicken chips, because that's the only real Louisiana culture that exists. So, something I've taken upon myself is to make sure I have the blueprints to every single Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen franchise location. Because then, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, how did I break into this Popeye's, steal the recipe? I'll be like, ooh, I know that one. So if you're in the chat, which it looks like not a whole lot of you are, but those of you who are there, feel free to post in the chat a Popeye's location that you're interested in breaking into, steal the recipe. Because look, Popeyes is a company that we like only to steal from because they use their money to support that dang guy, uh, Dick Job Trump. And it's like, man, I have a hard time saying his real name. I just can't do it. But if I could say his real name, I'd say Dick Job. Don't fucking take Popeye's money. Make me not be able to buy there. I'm trying to eat Popeyes, but I can't. I gotta steal it instead. Now it looks like nobody's interested in breaking into a Popeyes right now, which is okay. So let's get to my heart of my show, which is, of course, talking to my guests. Now, prior to all these COVIDs being up in the air trying to eat my heart, I was going to every opportunity that I could to speak to an audience and saying, hey, here's what it is. You got to survive an apocalypse. And in my travels, I did meet a number of folks who I got on my email list. And when COVID's happened and came down in the bunker and I said, oh, I got to keep getting these tips out there, well, I emailed my email list and a bunch of folks responded. A bunch of folks responded. And that's who's going to be on the show today. Now, coming up a little bit later, we have the quote unquote real tooth fairy, Destiny Angel. Very excited to talk to her. We also have a Florida girl. Excited to talk to her too. And prior to that, first up on the list, we got bunker interior designer Newton Oliver. Well, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't get right to it. So, Newton Oliver, please jump on in here in the stream. Let's get talking, man.
Hello, my little baby. How are you doing, Lester?
Doing quite well there, Newton. How are you doing? Other than like all the apocalypses I talked about, that part's not so good. But as far as living in the bunker, I'm good. How about you?
I mean, I don't want to say I'm excited about apocalypses, but business is booming, okay?
Okay, yeah.
For people who don't know me, I am Newton Oliver. I'm an interior design specialist. I specialize in bunkers. And, the name of the game? Fun. That's
right?
what I bring in. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
I'm actually...
Yeah.
No, please go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I love having fun down here in my bunker. The thing that I find the most fun is trying out different recipes, trying to make them perfect. Chicken strip.
Oh, I know. Trying to hone down that perfect Popeye's chicken strip.
Can't get
it. It eludes us all. We all think about it. We all love it. Well, I just wanted to. I wanted to come in here. I'm broadcasting from a place I'm currently working on. I can't tell you where, of course, but
sure. No, I wouldn't expect you to expose who your clients are. That's because especially during these COVID times when people's not supposed to have folks coming over, I imagine having an interior designer come over is kind of a risk.
It's a risk, but the rewards are immense. Okay, right now, people are aware the world is going to end soon. All right. I met this client outside of a gun show.
Oh, wow.
Lovely person. Well, can't express any more than that. Lovely person. And this person expressed to me they were afraid of the end of the world. I don't want to get too deep in it, but they are afraid of vampires. So I'm required to wear this little neck covering while I'm inside.
No, I'm sorry. So they are afraid of vampires, therefore you have to wear a neck covering?
Well, yes, it is covered in garlic. It's been soaked in garlic. They want to make sure I'm not getting bit. I had to go through a full body exam,
Wow, that's
in the daytime.
That's a big time requirement. Most of the time if I ever have, back when I lived in my house with my wife, when she would have interior designers come over, because for me, I was just focused on the bunker, not the house. When she would have them come over, I would say, well, yeah, they can work. They's probably not a vampire.
Well, I just assumed walking in the middle of the day would be, honesty enough. Sure. Obviously, I'm not a vampire, but this person was like, I must insist. And of course, as a person with a bunker, he's got a lot of guns. They've got a lot of guns. I don't want to gender anyone.
Sure.
So I don't mind. That's just part of the game.
I suppose so. Yeah, it sounds like yours. I imagine you run into a lot of folks who's concerned about different things when you're coming into their bunkers.
Yes, of course. I mean, there's sun flares people are afraid of.
Oh, absolutely.
There's the viruses. There's nuclear war. There's, I recently designed a bunker for a man who was afraid that the cats were going to learn too much and they were going to claw the eyes out. And so I had to design around that. That's part of the fun. Figure out what people are scared of and design around it.
Sure, sure. Well, so how are you finding your clients? Because I imagine there's a lot. There's either you got like two options. You either going door to door at different bunkers, or you got some kind of
Hmm.
internet ad going on.
Well, it's a pretty simple process for me. Sometimes I will hang out outside of, a gun convention. That's a pretty easy one
Mm-hmm.
to find clients in. I like to look up, when you look in the news and you're like, somebody bought all of Ted Bundy's teas for $160,000, and you're like,
Oh
who
yeah,
would have done that?
happens all the
That
time.
person wants a bunker. You know what I mean? That's the type of person who's going to want a bunker.
Well, definitely. I mean,
So I,
if you're asking me, I'd say every single person should want a bunker because no matter what happens to you in your life, eventually you're gonna need to wait out an apocalypse underground.
Absolutely. And I'm of the mindset you have to be safe. Can I take you through this place a little bit
Oh, I
and
would
just
love
show
that.
you
Yes,
some of
please
the
do.
so obviously I can't tell you where you are, but as you
Mm-hmm.
see, I'm sitting in front of the pantry. Now, an interesting thing about this pantry here is it looks very nice and you're like, oh hey, maybe I'd like to have a let's see if I can get that angle here. Oh look at a beautiful wind chime. And what are these
Sure.
taco shells? No, it's actually a little boomerang. So or a
Oh
little
wow.
shot. So, you go in and then you're like, oh, maybe I want some corn mixed, but actually, got yourself a crossbow. You've
What?
got to keep yourself safe, sweetheart.
My God. I mean, yeah, I definitely, for me, I say the only weapon you need is hot chicken grease. But if you are stocking up
Hmm.
on various slingshots, crossbows, that sort of thing, hiding them in a pantry is a great idea. Mix them in with the food, nobody will ever know.
Everything can be a place to store a weapon. Look at this. You see this? It looks like you might not be able to see it, but it looks like a little laundry line
Oh,
here.
sure, yeah.
That's actually that has the tensile strength to strangle a person dead, sweetheart. You have to prepare. People are going to want those supplies.
Oh
You
my
leave a
God.
little box and it says small pouches, okay? But actually, it contains big knives.
Wow, yeah, that is a big knife.
So,
I'm surprised. Most times when I think about interior design, I'm thinking about like, okay, where's the painting gonna hang? Should I get a bigger sconce?
mhm.
That kind of thing. But it sounds like for you, interior design is more about hiding weapons around the place.
For me, interior design is about practicality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We've got the shelves for the food. Okay, boring. We've got it. We've got the laundry line. Okay, yes, yada, yada, yada. We've
Mm-hmm.
got the place where you can wash your clothes, blah, blah, blah. But now it's a place to store a sword.
Oh wow.
So, you know what I mean? It's about practicality, sweetheart. You have to be aware that at the end of the world, people are going to be desperate, you know, and certainly you'd like to be able to suck and fuck every problem away, but sometimes you have to deal with it with violence.
Well, that yeah,
So,
sure, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I assume if you can't handle a problem with a little suck and fuck, then you probably need to get violent.
oh my God, Lester, you are a card and I love you. Honestly, if I was able to leave this compound, I
Hmm.
would go to you and give you a big hug because you're such a funny man and I love
Oh,
talking to you.
well. Now I do appreciate that, Newton. There, but of course I would have to turn you away at the door. I'm not letting folks down in the bunker because unless they are my wife, my son, or any of my son's friends who want to come be the future of humanity, I got to make sure that this place is COVID free.
Yes, you're smart, of course, absolutely. I travel a lot um, in those hazmat suits
Hmm.
just for safety. Unfortunately, I can't stay at home. I'm not much of a homebody. But I'd like to think of every bunker I make as a little home. I'm making a
Sure.
home for somebody that,
Well, that's
you know, if everything goes the way we think it's going to go, this is their home for the rest of their lives.
but
Isn't
that
that beautiful?
that is beautiful, and that's interesting. Now, I do have to really briefly sidetrack from our conversation, which is just to say that one guy, Connor Something's here in the chat, and he said, let's do it with an exclamation mark, which I assumed was a greeting. And to that, I respond, well, hey there. Now, back to you, Newton. I do wonder. Now, I know you can't say who you guess, whose house you're working on, but based on the assortment of weapons, the fact that he's real scared of vampires, I do have to ask you real quick. Is it Van Helsing?
Listen, obviously I can't say,
Right.
but I can say real quick that they are starting a sex cult.
Oh,
And if you
wow.
think that's something maybe a Van Helsing would do, sorry, that was a white robe if you couldn't see it. If you think that's something maybe a Van Helsing would do, and if you were interested in joining a Van Helsing based sex cult, I wouldn't say don't go to vanhelsingfox.org. I'm just, but I can't say if it is him or not.
Well, no,
But
you can't say, but I appreciate you saying. Don't go to vanhelsingfolks.org. That's a good advice. That's good advice for anybody who doesn't want to see that. Now, that one guy, Connor something, does say it might be Keanu, and I assume he means Keanu the
Mhm.
cat from the movie Keanu.
Oh my God, that cat was precocious. It hung out with gang members.
True. AC Improv in the chat says that they just went to I assume the website, not the movie Keanu. It's hard to know sometimes what people are referring to because the way time works is we'll say something, they'll type out a response, but then by the time I see the response, I don't remember what we were saying. So that's
Hmm.
tricky. But I'm glad that AC Improv is in the chat now. Anyway, Newton, I had a question for you, and it is completely gone. But what it is, instead of that one, is I'm going to ask you now, do you feel like uh, not having a home of your own is kind of making your life more difficult? Or do you enjoy going from place to place, working on it, and staying there while you work while you're working?
You know, I can't say I don't. I don't feel lonely for a home or steady companionship, but
Mm,
I can say that when I look in the eyes of this usually disgruntled man and I
Van
say, "Your
Helsing, yeah.
bunker's ready," and they give me a smile, and of course they raise their rifle at me, and then usually they hurl a bag of gold at my feet and say, "Get to running, boy."
Wow, you get paid
I
in
feel
gold?
good. Usually, you'd be surprised how many people want a bunker, have a lot of gold, and they
Eh,
could pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not $1 million, on a bunker in
mm-hmm.
gold.
That's smart.
I don't know where they got it.
I do always tell folks if you're gonna stock up, keep money around, it's gonna get probably burned up if it's paper money, possibly melted if it's metal money. So instead, invest everything you got in freezers and chicken breasts. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Newton, I want to know a little bit about your existence prior to all these COVIDs being up in the air, trying to eat our insides from the inside. Uh, were you living in a place of your own that you would, maybe store this gold in, and then you lost track of that when you was out there working on all these houses, or what?
Well, I always say never, never poop where you eat.
True.
But I did create a little bunker for myself that
Oh
I hope
wow.
to retire in someday when something bad happens. And I was working on that before the COVID hit.
Hmm.
Most of my contractors had to, go away. So there is a half finished bunker somewhere in the Midwest that obviously I will not tell you where it is
Of course
because
not, and
then
I
I would
won't
have to
ask.
kill you.
Oh no, no, no! You
So
could never kill me.
you say that, but I've hidden knives everywhere I go. Everywhere I go.
So those weren't you weren't commissioned by Van Helsing or whoever owns this place to hide these weapons around the pantry. That was just you doing that for you.
I mean, I have to protect myself while I'm making this place,
That's true.
you know. And he's mostly afraid of vampires, and I'm more afraid of him than vampires, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
always been his problem.
I
Assuming it is
know
Van
it's like,
Helsing.
yeah, let's say it theoretically is Van Helsing, that's his biggest problem. Okay, he's trying to relive his grandfather's glory when his grandfather was out there fighting Dracula,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just a guy who has a lot of money from, because obviously the Van Helsing ancestry, they robbed all those Draculas after they killed
Oh,
them.
for
You're not going to
sure.
leave a mansion full of art just sitting there. No,
That'd be
you rob
foolish.
them after you kill them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably where he got all those gold bars from. I'm assuming that he's
Yes.
paying you in gold bars, not gold coins. What an assumption by me. I'm so sorry for making that
Occasionally,
assumption.
no, no, I understand. I mean, some people pay me in gold bars. Somebody pay me in jewels. Some
Mm.
people play in coins. Some people play in golden tooth that were pulled out of people's skull, and I don't ask where they got them.
Oh, that's smart because it's probably not their own mouth.
Mm-mm, almost never. Though there's a lot of them who don't have a ton of teeth.
Mm.
I always find very charming. It gives a smile little character. I don't have the teeth to fill this in.
Oh, that's nice. I imagine you get to look back fondly on a lot of your customers and maybe look back terrified on some of the other ones. Would you say that there's one crowning achievement among all the bunkers that you made, a favorite one? You don't have to say whose it was, but just tell me a little bit about it, unless you want to say whose it was.
There was a person. There was a man. Let's just call him Richard,
Ooh,
and
Richard
he
Nixon.
I can say, but I can say he was going through a contentious time period in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I need to get away from this. I'm sick of the way people are looking at me. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of the way I'm being ostracized by society. I wish I could just live the rest of my life in a bunker. So
Mm-hmm.
I built him a bunker and I helped him fake his own death. And it's one of those time sealed bunkers. So he can't even get out for 35 to 40 years.
Wow.
But just seeing the look on his face as I closed that door, sealing him in complete isolation for 35 years,
Oh my God.
that makes you feel good. That makes you feel very good.
That makes me feel scared. I got to be honest, because that means when Nixon comes out, he's gonna be crazier than he was when he went in. And I mean,
and
he already thought he wasn't a crook, but we all know.
yeah, and also he has a lot of weight and protein in there, so he could be crazy ripped as well,
Oh, I hope
which
so.
I think would be fun. I always have a
Yeah.
jacked old man,
Hmm,
just
yeah.
ripped.
I always imagine if Nixon was to get ripped, he'd be an incredible MMA fighter.
Yes. Oh
I
my God, because
always
he'd be
imagine that.
scrappy.
Yeah,
I
very
get it.
scrappy. Very scrappy.
Yes. He'd be like, I'm
Man.
going to kick your ass or whatever.
Yeah, he's like a Hulk Hogan in a way. I'm not really sure how,
Yes.
but he's like that in a way.
Yeah, he'd be good on the mic. Maybe his ring skills would be as good as his mic skills, like a Hulk Hogan.
I hope so. Well, that's exciting. I mean, we can't confirm or deny that you worked on the various projects, including the bunker of Richard Nixon and the bunker of Van Helsing. But I'm excited to know about that. That's real cool. Is there anybody who you look back and you're like, man, I wish I didn't help that guy out or that lady?
Oh my God, a few. Occasionally the ones who are worried you're going to tell about that bunker and they hunt you through the woods and try to kill you
Oh
so no
no.
one knows the bunker exists. And you always know I'm going to have to get a running start. You kind of feel it halfway through the bunker build process, and they're just kind of standing in a doorway watching you sharpening a knife,
That's
or
terrifying.
yeah, it's part and parcel of the position. I did have to make a bunker for this one young man.
Hmm.
He was in his early 20s. This was a few years back, and he was big into. Have My Little Pony?
Sure, I've heard of that, the bronies and whatnot.
Yes, he was one of those bronies, and everything had to be My Little Pony, and but he kept being like, "Oh, this is ironic," and I'm just making fun of it, and I was like, "I don't care. I didn't ask you. I don't want to
Hmm.
know." And then, the real dolls that look like ponies started appearing, and
Uh
I was
oh.
like, oh no, I know what this is now. This is kind of like a sex dungeon for plastic dolls.
Wow.
And I didn't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I can imagine how many of these bunkers that you are decorating end up becoming sex cults and sex bunkers. I bet it's like
Well,
95%.
honestly, yes, it's very high because you obviously you wanted to stay ready for the apocalypse, but
Hmm.
it's just an empty room if you're not using it. And
True.
usually it's lit like a room you'd want to have crazy fuck sessions in. So, it's often about 3/4 of the way through, they're like, "Hey, can you put in a swing? Can you put in
Hmm.
a sex swing?" And I'm like, "Of course, everything is load bearing. Just has to it has to survive a nuclear winter. Obviously, you can fuck the beast can survive you fucking.
I suppose so.
So
Now, man, that's exciting. I mean, if my wife was interested in coming down in the bunk, I'd have to think about bringing you over here, make one of the rooms, maybe a sex room. But she's trying to stay above ground up in the house, do her job. So unfortunately, I'm just down here by myself. But But that is exciting. It's awesome when you hear about somebody who's having a career success during a tough time. So I'm glad to hear that for you, Newton.
Hey, thank you so much, Lester. And I just have to say, you are bringing such a positive light to the bunker world
Oh,
and to preparedness.
oh,
And you're a light, and a light I'm going to follow till the world ends. You know what I
oh.
mean?
Well, thank you so much, Newton. That's so nice. Now, I wish after a compliment I didn't have to say, "Hey, we got to move on to our next guest." But that is what we're up against in terms of time. Is we got to move on to the next guest. But before we do, I do have a question coming to me through my publicist at Ezra Partier on Instagram.
Hmm.
And if you're watching the screen, I just flashed some ads. These are all these ads that you're going to see in the show are Instagram handles. This question comes to me from at Zach at ZH Jobe or ZHJB. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I assume it's ZH Jobe. And oh yeah, I'm looking at him and he kind of looks like if you wasn't wearing a hat on your head and a hat on your neck. That's interesting.
Well, I've never heard of him, but he sounds like a handsome fellow.
Sure is. Now, he wants to know who is your personal hero? Ooh, oh, that's a great question for me. My personal hero is, of course, Dr. John, the New Orleans musician, because he's one of the first folks to say, hey, you know what matters most to me? And that's New Orleans culture. And he brought that up to the masses and he said, I'm going to make sure that my music lasts past the apocalypse. And a lot of people think, well, he never talked about apocalypses, but that's not true. Listen to the album Lockdown. He has a song about it, okay? So he's my hero. Who's your personal hero there, Newton?
My personal hero was somebody I made a bunker for. His name was Kitana Joe. Kitana Joe was the type of man who built everything out of knives and swords,
Oh, wow.
and he also knew how to use them practically. So he would, every time he would make breakfast, he did it with a katana. And I said, this is the person I want to be like. And so I've every time I cut vegetables, it's with a katana. So
Wow, that
that's
sounds
mine.
like a dangerous way to do it, but if you're good with a katana, then you can cut anything. So that's exciting. Now, Newton, if you would stick around, I'm going to introduce our next guest now. And our next guest, oh, well, listen, she told me that her name is Florida Girl, and I thought to myself, well, it's possible she has another name, but turns out no, it's Florida Girl. Florida Girl, jump on the stream here, say hi.
Okay. Can you see me?
I sure can. Yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. I don't get to be on this many shows too much because I'm always busy, like hanging out and like fishing and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Now, are you outside at the sports bar right now?
Yeah, and there's a hurricane, so
That's what
we're
I
gonna
was thinking.
have so know your facts. There's a hurricane coming fast. So you better drink up your drink before you get hit by some heavy wind. You gotta know your facts about that and know when to jet out.
Sure, yeah. Well, I would say the fact that I would want folks to know about a hurricane coming is you probably don't want to be outside at all. Maybe even don't go to the bar in the first place. But hey,
Oh,
you
that's
do
a
you.
myth. That's
Is
a
it?
myth.
Is it?
Yeah, the only way you can get in trouble during a hurricane is if you get hit by something and you get hit to the ground and it falls on top of you. So if you get hit by something, best thing to do is jump the other way. Nothing's gonna fall on top of you. Know your facts.
Sure, yeah. No, that makes sense. That is good advice. If something is falling on you, definitely get out of the way. That's a good point. Now,
Yeah, you can get healed from a wound, but you cannot get healed from being crushed. Know your facts.
that's very true. You haven't ever been crushed in your life, have you?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh no, yes, I have. Yeah, yeah. I was crushed about. That's how I learned about this. I was crushed in Hurricane Sandy.
Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. But now, I mean,
Sounds real
listen,
bad.
I don't
Yeah.
want to contradict you, but it does seem like you've healed up nicely from that time when you got crushed.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have at least 70% of my organs, so you can live for a long time on that.
Oh yeah,
So.
no. If you missing 30% of your organs, it sounds like you didn't recover fully. So I apologize for contradicting you in the
Oh
first
no,
place.
but there's certain organs can take on the jobs of the other organs. You don't really need all your organs, and that's an actual fact that I'm a proven proof of that. So.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, this might be too personal, but what organs you got? What organs you missing?
Oh, okay, so I got heart. That's number one main thing you need.
That's a good
Um,
one.
And then so I got like a liver. I got like all the squiggly things inside that makes your poops go.
Oh, sure,
Um,
yeah. The intestines, right?
yeah, and then so I'm just missing like the basic stuff you don't need, like gallbladder and like a spleen and stuff like that.
Oh, spleen's pretty important, but I hear you. I mean, that makes sense. I'm sure you got other organs that are doing the job of your spleen.
Oh yeah, and I got yeah, so
Mm. So aside from being out at a sports bar during a hurricane, how's your COVID situation been going? You got a bunker you living in or what?
COVID-19. Okay. Okay. COVID-19 is a conspiracy theory, and
Oh
you
no.
better know that COVID-19 is a lie, and it's a lie created by Russia, and it don't exist. Know your facts.
What listen, I know my facts, and I'm gonna tell you right now that's not a fact.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So you're just a sheep. So I guess you don't believe everything you see in the media. Then, oh yeah, yeah. I guess COVID-19 is real. But how many people you know who got COVID-19? Nobody. They just giving it to all the robots, letting them reports on it.
Well, no, I actually know quite a few people who've had it, and several who've lost family members to it. So I want to say, listen, like I understand why you might think it's not real.
Robots,
There's say that again.
and all your friends are robots. So.
That's always been something I was afraid of, actually. If what if it turned out all my friends was robots and nothing was real and we was in the Matrix?
Hey, do you know right now on this planet there is more robots and more aliens than there is people left, and they just everywhere,
You think
and you don't know
so?
how to
Man,
do.
what happens if you ever come into contact with a robot slash alien who's posing as a human?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Who was it? Tell me it wasn't like a family member of yours or something.
Well, they just walk around like normal people. So I know for a fact my uncle Jerry is the alien robot
Uh oh.
because because one time he went out fishing. We didn't see him for 4 days. He walked in the back door. He wasn't even in the ocean. How you do that if you can't fly? Hmm?
Oh my God! Now that's a great point. Yeah, how do you get to the back door if you can't fly? That I've never really thought about that. Now I do have in the chat that one guy Connor something says he's gonna adopt "Know Your Facts" as his new catchphrase. Which, I mean I feel like you got competition for a catchphrase now.
Well, hey, so the only thing I gotta say about that is if you're gonna say know your facts, you better be spitting real facts, you know?
Hmm.
So if you're gonna say know your facts, then you know you better be telling facts. You better be doing your own research, not listening to them Hollywoods, okay?
Sure. Yeah. No, I wouldn't want anybody listening to Hollywood about facts
No.
because they's always making fiction. You know, there's no such thing as a documentary, if you ask me. Now, Florida girl, where do you do your research?
Oh, I'm in school right now. I'm in a school of life, so this is my classroom and these are my teachers. So
Okay, so most of your research is being done at this here sports bar.
yeah, so the more people you talk to, the more opinions you get, and you start getting the same opinion over and over. You start thinking, maybe these people's onto something that, you know, might be being fed a bunch of lies.
Wow. Yeah. And your uncle who you said is a robot, he didn't like disagree with you, did he?
Uh, well, once we had figured out that he was a robot,
Uh huh.
we don't see him no more.
Oh,
So
did you excommunicate him from the family because he was a robot?
yeah, and also he stole like a bunch of stuff.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, well, he came in the back door, so we weren't home. So he came in the back door and he stole a bunch of stuff.
Oh my
So
God. So wait, you weren't home, but you're pretty sure it
yeah,
was him who came in the back door. How do you know?
yeah. Well, we know. Well, we haven't seen him again. So he went out fishing, and then we didn't see him for 4 days, and then our house was robbed, and
Mm-hmm.
then we never saw him again. But this is how we know that it's him is because he has a distinct smell.
Oh, I see.
We had smelled him when we came home. He's like, "Oh, that smell like Uncle Jerry," and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, it smell like, you smell that? Oh, Uncle Jerry must be back." And then we realized that he stole a bunch of stuff. So,
Oh man, yeah, no, that's tough. What does Uncle Jerry smell like, if you don't mind me asking? I know that's real
oh,
personal about your uncle, but I'm curious.
okay, so
What's that
all my
specific smell?
uncles smell exactly the same. So I have 5 uncles, and they all smell exactly the same. And so they smell like a mix of coconut, beer, and some oyster blood. So you know how sometimes you shuck an oyster and it's bad and got that brown stuff called that
Uh-huh.
oyster blood.
Yeah, of
So
course.
so all my uncles, they all smell like coconut, oyster blood, and uh,
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 what was the other one you said? Oh, it doesn't matter. But look,
just,
what?
I guess I forgot, so no, you're
Yeah, no,
fine.
I mean,
I
yeah, I
didn't
mean,
know my
coconut and
facts.
oyster blood. That's a strong enough combination, and it isn't possible, of course, that it was one of your other uncles who stole your stuff, and maybe your uncle Jerry's just been missing since he went fishing. But I mean, that's not possible, right?
No.
Cool.
Can I chime in and just ask real quick, Florida Girl? What kind of stuff does a robot steal?
Okay, so that's the scary part about robot aliens is
Hmm.
that they like the same stuff that humans like. So they're been so well programmed, so well trained that it's indistinguishable. So when we had everything stolen by that my robot Jerry Uncle Alien,
Hmm.
so we had the TV stolen, we had all the booze from the house stolen, we had all the flip flops, and so and pretty much every t-shirt that wasn't white. So pretty much everything of value we had stolen. So you would think that it was a human, but we happen to know that it was my robot alien, Uncle Jerry. So know your know your facts, you know.
Yeah, that's intense. It's the worst when family members turn against each other, I think.
Oh yeah.
Hmm. That's a great question there, Newton. Thank you for chiming in. If you do have any follow up questions, feel free to ask them.
I mean, I'm enjoying hearing from you, Florida Girl. You seem like you live a rich life. So you say you learned most of what you've learned from this sports bar. Is there a specific teacher here you just love? You love to learn from?
Okay, so this is the fancy sports bar. So I went here because I knew y'all gonna be filming me, but this is the fancy one. I only come
Hmm.
here like every once in a while if get some money. So the place that I really strive at is called Ducks, and Ducks is popping every night. And I'll tell you what, if those people weren't drunk all the time, I bet they'd be scientists, but too drunk to be scientists.
Yeah,
So it's really
scientists is
smart
Yeah.
super.
people. It's really smart people, but mostly drunk people. So you can get the truth out of people when they're drunk. Know your facts.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I do have to
Yeah.
ask. It sounds like you spending a lot of time. Well, I guess yeah. You don't believe in COVIDs, but have you ever had folks who you normally hang out with kind of stop coming to the bar because maybe they got a cough or something?
No, so if you have a cough, one of the main things you're supposed to do is drink whiskey with lemon. So pretty much
That's true.
everyone with a cough goes straight to the bars. So, but I do have some people who stop coming around because they got real sick.
Hmm.
So they got real sick. They cough. They can't stop coughing.
Yeah,
So
that's
they
kind of
got
what I
some weird.
thought.
Yeah, they got
Yeah,
some
that.
weird bug going around.
Yeah, there is a weird bug going around. It's COVID-19. Um,
Ain't this conspiracy theory? Everybody knows no facts.
right. Speaking of knowing your facts. Now, that one guy kind of something asked me. He says, Lester, we've never met. How do you know I'm not a well-programmed robot? Do you have any advice for how I can figure out if my friend, that one guy kind of something, is a well-programmed robot?
Okay, right away I know that that's not a robot because had you ever had a robot tell you they're a robot?
Oh, that's a good point.
So right away, if somebody tries to tell you you're a robot, that means that they want to be a robot. So, and let me make this one thing really clear: you
Hmm.
do not want to be an alien robot. It's not a happy life. It's not a happy life because you're always putting on a fake mask. So don't even try. But I can tell. I can tell if somebody's an alien real quick.
Yeah. What do you look for?
Nostril size. So like somebody has like one nostril tiny bit bigger, tiny bit smaller than the other nostril, you immediately know they was made wrong because part of the microphone is in the nose of the robot. So then you have like a little bit bigger there. And mostly how you can know is if they see you and they say things like hey, how are you today? Nobody really says that except for in the movies,
Sure. I
so
mean, that sounds like just a person in your
Hmm.
community taking an interest in your life, but I suppose that makes sense.
that's not how we talk. That's not how we talk or anything. At least you know they're not from here. If they say hello, how are you Thanksgiving today. Nobody talks like that.
That's true.
They
And
learn
yeah,
that
there's not a lot of tourists in Florida right now because people are avoiding it like the plague because there's a plague there.
because this hurricane's about to hit.
That one
So,
too. That one too. Yeah, you got a lot of problems coming in Florida.
yeah.
Well, Florida girl, I am curious. Prior to all these COVIDs being up in the air, were you considering knowing your facts at that point, or were you too young then?
Private Aldecott, knowing
Like,
my facts.
yeah, were you focused on any particular set of
Listen,
facts
you sound
before?
stupid. I can't even understand what you're trying to say to me. You sound stupid.
Okay, well, I mean, there's no need to get personal here. I just talk the way I talk.
Trying to make me look stupid, ask me questions, don't make no sense.
No, I would never try to make my guests look stupid. I'm always on the side of my guests. No matter what even if what they saying makes no sense and is wrong, I'm on their side. And in this case, I'm 100% on your side. Now, what I was trying to say was, prior to all these COVIDs being up in the air trying to eat people, were you studying any particular type of theory on Earth? Was it all about aliens for you then too?
Oh yeah. So not only do I study aliens, but I collect little alien wings. So
What?
that one time when I get some biologist, then I can test it and see what they're made out of. So there's these little wings that you could find on the ground, and
Uh-huh.
most people don't notice them. They're a little clear, like clear little wing. It almost looks like a snake. It almost looks like the outside of a snake.
Oh, you talking about empty snake skin?
Nice alien wings. So you can find. So most people. So yeah, you can mistake it probably for a snake, skiddly widdly, but
Sure.
so it's actually an alien wing. And so I got a whole collection of those in my at home. And when I get a biologist, we're gonna find out real quick exactly what aliens are made of, and then you know what? I'm gonna start making them myself because if you can't beat them, you join them. Know your facts.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that is one option. If you if you think you can manufacture aliens, that's exciting. It does seem counter to what the word alien means, but I like the concept a lot.
Hey, you can make a baby, you can make an alien. So know
Know
your
your
facts.
facts. Yeah, well, that's a fantastic fact. Florida girl, we do have to get to my next guest, but before we do, I have a question coming to me from through my publicist, that is Repartier on Instagram. And this one comes from at Nikki Doobs. Nikki spelled Nicky, Doobs spelled Doobs. Oh, you know what? I'll even just put it up here on the screen. And Nikki Doobs, wow. Nikki Doobs kind of looks, I would say, exactly like you, but if you wasn't wearing a shirt that had aliens on it.
Impossible.
True. No two people look alike. Uh, and Nikki Dubes wants to know uh, what are some options for executing a gender reveal party that will not start a fire? Oh, this is a good question. So first of all, gender reveal parties are a real problem. You setting if you end up having a kid who's trans, then you're setting them up for a world of hurt. So overall, I'd say gender reveal parties are pretty bad. Don't do them. But the way that my mom taught me to do it is you feed the pregnant woman a Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen spicy chicken strip, and if she likes it, it's a boy. If she doesn't like it, it might also be a boy. Florida girl, you have any advice on gender reveal parties?
So first of all, I don't think y'all should be showing each other all your junk like that because you could go straight to jail. You know, my cousin Alexander, he's tried to reveal his gender to your dad. He tried to reveal his gender out in the street. He went straight to jail. No, you're fucked.
That's a really good point. Yeah, if by gender reveal you mean exhibitionism, definitely don't do it.
Exhibitionism. Okay.
That's what you was talking about with the guy who pulled his.
No, I'm talking about gender reveal. Just showing real quick who you are, and so.
Right. Well, that is a good point. Now, Newton, you don't have anything to say about gender reveal parties, do you?
I say save your money, put it into a bunker. Okay, all that money you would have put into the legal fees of accidentally burning down a forest, you don't need it. Put it into a bunker. Just your child will be whatever gender it is when the end of the world happens. Who cares? Who cares about the reveal?
That's a real good point. Thank you for that. Now, my next guest is somebody I'm excited to introduce, which I know I say that about every single guest, but it's always true. So this person is not a dentist. They are a real tooth fairy named Destiny Angel. Destiny, please jump on the screen here.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hello.
Destiny, what an entrance. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Oh no, I always enter like that. No matter where I am, grocery store, Amazon, car.
Oh, you enter your own car like that even when there's nobody in there?
I don't own a car, but if I Uber, Lyft, or Via.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, Destiny Angel, you told me that you are a real tooth fairy. Could you please tell me what that is?
I would love nothing more. My philosophy on teeth is something that is deep within me and my chakra.
Okay.
Now, if I was to explore the human mouth, baby, man, woman, elder person, nurse, I would think to myself, what is their soul?
Mhm.
Who are they? Who are they to me? Because really, in all truth, what our teeth say about us is who we are.
Wow, that's
You know,
interesting.
when you're soaring with angels, like I am on a daily basis, it is hard not to recognize the teeth within you.
Wow. Okay. So normally when I think about teeth, I'm thinking about just my old Papa chicken chips chompers, which is what I call my teeth sometimes, like right now, for example, and probably never before or again. But it sounds like what you're thinking about when you talk about teeth is more of like your spiritual innards.
Yes. I just, maybe this would help everyone just at home. I want to think of this as a demon stick. This
Oh,
is not
that's an
something
electric
that
toothbrush.
cleanses your soul. And I would like to think of this
Well, that's a
as
little
cream
toothpaste.
soda, something that also the demon wants you to believe. And the last thing, a demon string, something that he wants you to wrap around your throat and somehow suffocate.
Wow.
But
Now, I've never considered dental products to be products of the devil before. You're gonna have to explain that connection, because for me, I'm thinking like, no, I think that's pretty much just what a dentist tells you to protect your teeth.
and how much we're paying them, it's a real pyramid scheme, don't you think?
Wow. You know, I never considered that. What if it is true that the dentist is a pyramid scheme?
It is, isn't it? It is. It
Yeah.
is.
You know, I'm thinking about it when I haven't been to a dentist during all these COVIDs because I don't want to get out there and risk having a man breathe or lady breathe directly into my mouth any of the COVIDs that they might have. So instead of that, I've been just working on my teeth at home. But I have noticed, you know, every time I would go to my dentist, I would leave with a bunch of dental products that I was supposed to sell to other people.
Really?
Hmm.
You've bought into it?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's just stop for one moment and I will say a prayer upon these beads. Dear Hubas, I want you to thank me for my teeth. I want you to thank everyone on this screen for this teeth. For this healing teeth. And now, if anybody would like me to perform a ritual teeth extraction healing,
Oh my God.
that is something that I'm more than happy to do.
Well, you know, I mean, you're not gonna be able to get here and ritually extract my teeth, and I assume that you
Oh,
can't get to Newton or Florida Girl either. I'm guessing you're not in Van Helsing's house or this sports bar, but
no, I don't know. I don't know. I
you
couldn't
don't know.
say.
Oh, okay, yeah. Don't tell us where you are. That's risky. But if you're talking about pulling your own tooth out with that knife, I mean, I want to see it.
You do?
Uh huh.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just stop us for a second because I also want to get into the tooth fairy business that is really what I'm all about.
Oh,
If
sure. Yes.
beyond healing, it's beyond everything else. It's who I am and embody. It's the tooth fairy. And I just wanted to, if I was to go into your house, if you were losing all of those teeny tiny, precious little baby teeth, I'm coming around and I'm distracting the people that are bigger than the children. Sometimes people call them adults or parents. And so I'm coming into the building and I'm going,
That seems like it's a bunch of charging cables, and you're shaking them around.
because people always need to charge. It is
True.
something in our self-involved society that I have seen, and people just go running out the door. And then I go up to the child's room and I say, "Oh, it's me. Go back to sleep. I'm here." And then I look upon their room and I think to myself, how much money will I pay for their teeth? Because if I'm stealing Hello Kitty, I am not paying a cent. I am not paying a dime. I'm not leaving a check. I'm not leaving anything.
Wow.
And if I see Polly Pockets, maybe I'm leaving 5 cents. But then if I see Sonic the Hedgehog, I have had a full body explosion and I am leaving 50 cents for that child. I'm leaving 50 cents.
There is so much to unpack here. On the one hand, I'm so curious about you breaking into folks' homes and talking to their children, because that's concerning, to be perfectly
Oh,
honest. But on the
no,
other
no, no,
hand,
no, no. I'm a gift. I'm something above everybody else. I'm a person. You know, I've talked to demons. I've talked to angels, you know, and also because I have to be everywhere at once,
yeah,
you know, sometimes I will send out people that look like me, but also embody me as
wow.
well.
So
So say I was talking to,
you got like a
oh,
whole
oh,
crew
oh,
of tooth fairies that you're working with.
oh, yes, 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 yes. So say I was talking to a boy, unlike yourself, and I was thinking to myself, oh, I am a boy. And I was thinking to myself, I will, what?
No, please keep going. I was just saying,
Excellent. Because it's a real spiel and everybody's getting this for free because really it's a week-long seminar that I hold in Paris for 1 week at the Lebu. So I say to them, you are a boy. You are someone that is not like me. I have never had a wet dream. I have never looked upon something that is long between my pants. I have also never not had dangles upon my bosom.
what?
And is no one understanding me right now?
Well,
How
I'm
I'm
just
talking?
confused by the dangles. I mean, there's a lot of things that I want to ask you about, but I feel like I'm interrupting what you had planned to let me know, and I don't want to
I
do
just
too
thought I
much
was
of that.
letting the
But
world know. I just thought I was letting the world know who I am. You know what? If nobody wants to hear, you know, how I talk to boys.
well, no, I do want to hear how you talk to boys. I just got confused by the dangles on your chest part. And also AC Improv in the chat says gender is a construct. Babies don't have dangles, which is a really good point. And but please, what were you saying when you're talking to boys? Please, I don't want to interrupt you. I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, if I was a boy, I would say to them, I have known nothing but my past lives. I was a worker ant. I was a PE technician. I was a cloud.
What?
You know nothing of my struggle. And if they aren't in tears by the end of that sentence, they are out. They are out and they are not the tooth fairies that I want. They are not the tooth fairies that I want.
Well, that makes sense. If somebody doesn't connect with your story, it does make sense that you would not feel connected to them and not want them to work with you as a tooth fairy. I get that. Um, I am curious though, and I imagine that Newton and Florida caught this and they were interested as well. You said you feel a whole body experience when you see a Sonic poster and then you give 50 cents.
Yes,
Why? What is it about Sonic that makes you want to pay out more?
Hot dogs, right?
Oh yeah, is it a Sonic the no, you said Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Unless it is Sonic the Burger Place. I mean, hey.
No, I said Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't.
It was something that happened to me as a child. Something incredibly positive. I was invited over to a sleepover, the first sleepover that I'd ever been to as a young child, Amelia's. And she said to me as I lay my head on the pillow, she said, because she was French, "Ah, Destiny, you are so beautiful." And I said to her, "Why am I so beautiful?" And they said, "Oh, because you remind me of a blue flagging object." And I said, "Oh my God, what is it that you talk about?" And they said, "The Sonic the Hedgehog." And then they fell asleep. and it was something that touched me.
Wow.
So can I chime in real quick with a question?
Please.
So they screamed Sonic the Hedgehog before they fell asleep?
Yes. What is the?
I just wanted to clarify.
I mean,
What is
that's
the
the power of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Do you want? What I don't understand what the. I don't understand what the accusation, because do you want? Does nobody understand when I was being Amelia my hero? Did nobody understand when I was being Amelia my hero? And what that led me on a path. You know what? Actually, I'm just gonna show everybody what has gotten me through a lot. It is a dream picture that I had of myself. This is how I envisioned myself, and I just want people to know that, you know, God has spoken to me and said, you are my favorite. I don't want that to be anything against anybody. It's how God speaks. And then I've also had a message from God, from Satan, a fallen angel, that says, I'll get you, which really speaks wonders to the work that I'm doing here on earth. And also, I just wanted to point out just my favorite animal, which is a halo lizard, because he has been reborn again. That's it.
I really appreciate you pointing that out. Now, we are almost out of time on the show. I wish we could delve into more about this. AC Improv in the chat says, yo, my nemesis in first grade told me she was dating Sonic the Hedgehog. Is this my nemesis in first grade? You didn't have a nemesis in first grade whose name was AC Improv, do you? Destiny? Oh, they can't see that you're looking shocked. Hold on. Now they can.
I just want them to know that the full body experience that I'm having is kind of coming up, and that my, the lumps around my bosom are feeling oh so heavy, and I feel something in my brain that is also created. If somebody else wants to speak right now, it's none of my business to talk about my body.
I think she's crazy.
Yeah, I'm on board with you there, Florida girl. I think I've booked an insane person on the show again, which happens every once in a while. You know, but AC Improv did make a good point, which is if you stick around and watch the next show, which is Play Cousins, well, AC Improv is one of the people on that show, so you could see if maybe you recognize her. But before we get to the real end of the show, which is where we are, I do have a question coming to me from my publicist at Ezra Party on Instagram from an Instagram user named @HaleyBeglau, who, @HaleyBeglau looks kind of exactly like you, Destiny Angel, except without maybe that scarf and that pair of glasses. Interesting. Haley Beglau wants to know, what's your best romantic vacation? Oh, and I got a good one. So me and Charlene, right after we got married, we had a honeymoon, which I don't know if you know what that is, but that's what you have after it's like a romantic vacation you have with your partner after you get married. And we went to the greatest little picnic table where they filmed that commercial for Popeyes Louisiana Chicken, where there was the one lady sitting there and the other lady's talking about Popeyes, and she comes and she's like, hey, what do you like about Popeyes? And she says, oh, well, I like Popeyes. And I'm like, man, she's talking about spicy chicken strips. So we had to go there, you know. And God, my wife, we are separated now, but man, she was so kind to me to let me take her there for a romantic vacation. It was great. Destiny, you ever have a romantic vacation?
I've, had many a romance in my life, and I like to think of myself as my best lover. And a solo vacation that I took to satisfy my needs was Tijuana, Mexico. It was a glorious experience, and I ran on the beach and I ate elote, and it was nice. It was something. It was nice. It was hot.
Well, it sounds nice. Now, I hate to cut it short and not hear more about it, but we are out of time. So let me just say one more thanks to the folks who wrote in questions for the show, at Haley Beglau, at Nikki Dubes, and at ZH Jobe. Thanks to them. Thanks to the Pack Theater for having us on this channel again, letting us get the word out about how he's going to survive an apocalypse. And thanks to y'all who's in the chat. We is every Thursday at 6 o'clock, and then also we get onto the internet, and you can watch us there on YouTube. So we got to go, and we're going to end the show the way we always do, which is unceremoniously leave the internet.